Here, because my 5-drop allows me to tap for any source of mana, I know I have Pacifism open or to play something from my hand. I want to slow them down on damage because now I have board control, and I'm going to kind of call it that I don't think they're going to be playing bigger drops that can get through my 5/5 creature. So if I can slow them down and gain board control and draw just a white source, it opens up all the really good cards in my hand that I'll be able to take this game over. Okay. It's kind of the problem with one drops and 2-drops is that they take up an entire card. And so if you have better 3, 4, 5-drops and you can play them without dying, you win in the value game over the course of a game. So my opponent just used 2 cards to kill off my 1 card. That's a good trade for me. And they've passed the turn. They haven't played anything. I still have board control. So even though I'm stumbling by not finding my white source, I'm still, like, with half my deck, just the red half, it's outvaluing what my opponent is choosing to play, chooses to include in their deck, and then makes the strategic decisions that just aren't fundamentally good, like the fact that they're 2 for 1ing themselves to kill off my board and I still have board control. All right, found the white source. I think Snare Tactician is the right play because if I draw a cycle card or use the Savai Thundermane, which has cycle on it, I can tap down their creature and go for a win. And again, you can't look at every turn in isolation. That's why just if I took a screenshot of the board state, it wouldn't be a good, like, try to figure out lethal. Like, you have to see what your opponent's played the last 3 turns. So, they can always draw the right answer off the top of the deck, but they probably don't have it. So here, I know my opponent, I'll pause real quick just to get this point across. I know that my opponent for the past 3 turns has not played anything that has made me worried that I'm going to lose board control. If they do it, fine, but you can read your opponent in this way. They have been telling us I don't have a good drop to contend with the board. I have all the mana open. They have 3 or 4 cards in hand or whatever it is. I guess it's 3 cards in hand. So what they're playing now is their best move, and I know that I can deal with it because I can Fire Prophecy down the 2/2, leaves them with a 4/4, and I really don't want them to gain the life so that whenever this creature mutates, you gain 4 life. That will not activate if I kill off this creature. Then they have a 4/4. I can cycle away my Savai Thundermane, tap down the Snare Faction, and then hit them for lethal. So it's basically reading your opponent, and that's how you get the wins on games like this. And someone could say, well, you just chose the cards, like these red-white cards, you got better picks, you got out there with no game plan or way to win, and your opponent played their cards, you played your cards, and you won, and that's that. No, you look into it and see why the decisions were made. And even if you don't buy my explanation of how I'm thinking this game or how I'm implementing this strategy, take it and implement it in your own games and see if it works for you. And also just keep watching this video and see that if you take the basic fundamentals of what make drafting good, you can draft to win in almost any format, in almost any deck, as long as you make the right choices and the right inclusions. It's just a winning strategy. And I think that we've lost the idea that winning and building a strategy around winning that is implementable across all sorts of systems and games and decks and color types and Magic and maybe constructed versus drafting. you can still implement one single value set of system of strategy to develop a strategy to win the most amount of games over a long period of time. That's the whole point of this series of what I'm trying to make with drafting to win. It's not about it's about everyone trying to be better, and those watching this and my own mindset throughout a years playing Magic is try to develop a mindset of win the most amount of games for the longest period of time. It's not just this one game that or this one series. Like I can reliably once a week go on to Magic, draft a set, get 6 wins, 7 wins, and you can look at the past couple weeks I've been doing this and you'll see evidence of some of those. And even the ones that don't always get there, if I implement the strategies I'm talking about, it usually goes as best as it could have. And that's a model that you can always work on and chip away on, but the base fundamentals are there. And I don't see a lot of people in the Magic scene talking about basic fundamentals of that are applicable to outside sports. I mean, I come from StarCraft 2. I was never like super competitive. I just analyze lots of mindsets. I have a business background, so it's about how to make the right tactics to win in the market. It's very competition based, and I played tennis growing up, golf, futsal, which is indoor soccer, just all these different methods of applying the fundamentals to win, and you can take all of them and implement them here. And hopefully you guys see the translation between this isn't about Magic fundamentals, this is about how to strategically win and the fundamentals behind that. So I've gone on a way long diatribe. I didn't mean to go into this territory. Maybe this will be its own clip on its own, but that is how I'm going to be taking it. And it's hard to articulate. It's hard to describe. And anybody who wants to ask me or send me a comment on what did you mean by this line, I can expand upon it, or we could take other examples. Like you can read a biography of Michael Jordan, who's like the greatest basketball player of all time, and his winning mindset. Like it's about studying those people, those strategies, and trying to implement them into our games. And I do it with mine. I'm recording it in hopes to get other people to watch it, so you can sort of develop a community that it's not about finding the cheapest way to win. It's about finding the just solid strategies to make it, I guess it's almost like self-development to make sure that you're winning. And if you aren't winning, how are you practicing and thinking about winning? And it's not to make the other person lose. You hope that you get a good game out of the other person as well. Yeah, I think I'll end it there. And let's continue on with the games. So, all right, let's keep going.